videos up here that are defend the idea that patents promote innovation, I want to say that that's bullshit. And, I realize I'm going to do two videos on two different topics. The next one after this is going to just be mocking, something about, what was going on at Torrent Freak, but I read a number of years ago this really great Tech Dirt article that was just absolutely astonishing, and I wanted to share it with you and to read it with my audience here on YouTube. I wanted to show you this stuff. I wanted to send this link to you because it's bullshit, and if there's a video up here that says that the patent system promotes innovation, it's lying to its audience. The truth of the matter is that if we hadn't had a patent system, we would have gotten 3D printers a long time before we did. And this was this is a really old article. It was shared back in 2014, but it was pretty persuasive, to say the least. And since my position really is, or rather is seen as extreme, and it's just, end, don't mend the patent system. It's time for patent abolition. It was always pretty much an untested assumption, an unexamined assumption that the patent system did, create innovation. And now you'll find people willing to do it, but they've got a vested interest in saying that this bullshit, and it's bullshit, just because somebody says something on the internet and says that the internet wouldn't have existed without, the patent system doesn't mean it's necessarily true. They make a claim, but, you don't really know this, why? We've seen this too many times before, how patents can actually hold back very useful developments. And so, really, what's been going on, to a major extent, in all of this, okay, the patent system has people, inventors, and groups of people and startups just, sitting in rooms and dreaming up ideas like this, and then they don't go and do it because they look it up and somebody's got a patent on the product. This is the reality. So 3D printers were suddenly a big thing back, and there was a lot of talk about 3D printers back in, 2014. It's not because of any miraculous new breakthrough, though, as has been, as if they're pretending, but because of some key patents that finally started expiring, and, I'm trying to get this. So this other article on the side, the purpose of the intellectual property system is that what we have is to promote the progress. When there's strong evidence of it holding back progress, it seems like there's something that should be explored. Glenn wrote about plans to make the 3D object plan files available on the Pirate Bay, but in that post he put into a great interview from Michael Ronberg from Public Knowledge, who had really been at the forefront of getting people to think about the legal consequences associated with 3D printing. However, there was also one interesting side note in that interview that didn't get nearly enough attention. It's a development, and it's that development and innovation has been held up for the last couple decades, not because the technology wasn't available, but because of key patents that are apparently needed to build 3D printers. Those patents have started, but aren't, back in 2012, were not yet entirely set to expire, leading to a sudden interest in growing affordability of such printers. We've seen this before, though. But here it's a modern example. Work simply wasn't done on many parts, in part because there was no competition, and in fact, there was no competition because of the fact that there were patents filed, and the people that were holding those patents were patent trolls trying to make money off somebody doing it. And in fact, there are a few patents that really do hinder things, and this is a problem considering how much good 3D printers can do, especially as they provide more power, do multicolor, and a variety of other features. It kind of makes you wonder just how much we've lost by having tons of researchers just sitting around on their printer projects out of fear of getting sued. So the fear of lawsuits and everything caused a bunch of problems, and we're seeing this, now that those had expired, in 2014, we started to see, moves on 3D printers. We saw something similar in the field of infrared grills, which were put on the back burner, sorry, until key patents expired. Derek now points us to a similar example. A guy named Nathan Broadbent went out and hacked his microwave with a Raspberry Pi after being inspired by a post on Reddit. He basically made his post into a smart microwave that did a variety of things, including clock is automatically updated from the internet, can be controlled with voice commands, can use a barcode scanner to look up cooking instructions from an online database. There weren't any online microwave database cookings around, so I made one. He's talking about this. The microwave has a web page so you can control it from your phone. Why not set up cooking instructions for products? Tweets after it's finished cooking something. It's a nice little example of the cool product hacking going on these days, and it's another example of the Raspberry Pi in action. The folks over at Reviewed.com wrote about this last summer and pointed out that broadband was putting established microwaves oven owners to shame by doing this kind of thing that they should have been doing ages ago. This was just insane. Some dude hacks microwave, puts manufacturer to shame. That's such a great, to have such an article written about you. That's inspiring to say the least. This microwave manufacturer doing it wrong, and some guy from New Zealand just showed you up. And of course, it's down to the comments, where we get to a suggestion as to why we haven't seen this kind of innovation actually appearing in the market. Patents. A guy named Paul Becker notes that he explored this idea about a decade ago, but realized that there were too many patents in the area, making it impossible to bring it to market. And you can see, the problems with this. There's a barcode, and you go up and you look this up on Google and all this, and, it's gone now, expired. But this application was literally filed for this barcode scanning microwave oven by Litton Systems Inc. Which is a company I've never really freaking heard of. What do these guys do? Let's look into them. Was a large defense contractor. Let's look into who they actually are. So, Litton Industries was a large contractor in the United States named after inventor Charles Litton Sr. During the 1960s, the company began acquiring many unrelated firms and became one of the largest conglomerates in the United States. At its peak, in addition to many defense-related companies, it's also owned Royal Typewriters, Adler, Moffett Major Appliances. But what I wanted to say about this is that this was, even if this was a legitimate company, there was somebody in here that was basically engaging in patent trolling on behalf of the company. They were doing, because when barcode controlled microwave oven, why I say this? Because if Litton Inc. was the one that held this patent, they certainly never brought the product to market. So they were just sitting on a patent that they intended to sue anybody else that would go into that space on. Not all of those patents are still valid, but there seem to be ones including microwaves with barcodes. But just the ones with microwaves with barcodes. I'm sure that it would be easy to find many patents covering other many features that broadband included. Just for the hell of it, I did a quick search, very, very quick, and came up with the other patents and applications on that might also apply, such as this application for an intelligent microwave oven, And this is all about the Internet of Things, by the way. How long these patents went on. They were just waiting for these damn things to disappear. Or intelligent microwave oven appliances, or this internet microwave oven, which you can see in here, which was, back, you would have had it, and it should have been available way back in 2000, but, let's see that who the company actually is. The inventor is supposedly Ji Woon Kim, and did Ji Woon Kim actually bring his product to market? And this just expired back in 2020, so this person could, you could actually do an internet microwave at this point, because of this patent wouldn't be protecting this person anymore because his patent's expired. But let's see, oh yes, but Did LG Electronics ever bring a microwave to market with internet access? LG. I'm gonna have to look into the shopping, this, because I'm doing some research to see if this has ever actually been a thing. Like, I'm not seeing like one that could do all that stuff that in that guy's microwave. Like, where's the actual like internet connection on all of this stuff? Like, where? It doesn't appear that the company behind this particular idea ever did bring the product to market. So again, you have a case of a major corporation having a guy, you know, having a department where they patented some idea that was invented, and then they didn't actually produce the fucking idea. So inventors, so somebody comes up with a nice idea, right? And they go and they try to get it patented by a major firm. There's no guarantee that that firm ever actually produces the product. Maybe they just hold the patent in their hands so that they can strangle anybody else from, and suppress the technology from anybody else being able to actually produce it. And I mean, this is what's going on. Like, suppressed technology was never really a conspiracy. It was just that the people that were small inventors didn't have access to big budgets, and so they'd get big firms to, they'd get some lawyer to like patent their idea and then sell their idea to a very large company. But it was no guarantee that that company would ever actually produce, versions of that particular, product. And so you had patent trolls at these major companies that just, they bought up the idea from somebody who had pitched it to them, and then they never actually, made the fucking microwave. Or this for a microwave oven system receiving information to the internet and operating in accordance with its received information. Like, look into these patents. Like, this is just, at least it's withdrawn by this point. Who are these people, these inventors? Like, God, these are guys I've never even fucking heard of. Just some random dude that you've never actually heard of. In accordance with received information, or this one controlling a microwave through the internet. If you look into it, I'm sure you'll find more. Either way, there's no evidence that Broadbent needed any of these patents, or any patents at all, to figure out how to do any of this, or to even think of how the idea or how to execute it. Instead, like many innovations, he was inspired to scratch the innovation itch after realizing how useful something like that might be for himself, and he could do it. And thanks to tools like the Raspberry Pi, not because of any patent, but anyone who wanted to go out and market and sell such a thing would almost certainly be hit by, back in 2014, by a variety of patent infringement suits from patent holders who never did the simple thing that Broadbent did: actually build the fucking microwave. And that's why so many people are concerned about how our patent system holds back innovation, and not just in the software realm. The idea of an internet-connected anything wasn't being held back because no one could think up the idea, or because they couldn't protect their ideas for 20 years, or thanks to a patent monopoly, but because of the fact that the rest of the infrastructure needed to catch up. But today, it's easy to build these kinds of things, but we can't. In 2014, we couldn't, thanks to patents, which are holding back rather than promoting innovation. We should have had those products years and years and years ago, and we would have if we didn't have a fucking patent system. So, my position is the patent system is too fucking broken to be fixed. End it, don't mend it.